Okay, and I'm back again. Um, I did a little bit off stream, part of which you might be able to see here. So I tried to sort of map the actual surface mesh to the basketball texture. So I imported the basketball object and textures from a basketball I found on like a 3D model site. And that was as simple as what I'll do. I'll make a new scene, and what I did, or the best way that I found to do this, was to grab the basketball dot object, right, and then size that down because it's huge at the moment. 0.025. Okay. And then I take this and I click on the mesh and I did a simplified convex collision sibling. And that needed to be a child of the basketball. And then that sits in the basketball. It had an error here, so how did I fix that? Because I swapped them around. I had that as a child, like in the scene. The collision shape 3D is in the scene. And then I applied the basketball texture to that, I believe. I think that was it. Anyway, that prompted me to make, instead of my player, I'm going to cancel that, don't save. I'm going to close the player. It prompted me to make ball 2, which I used instead of just a node in a scene that I had to build myself. I used a character body 3D, which I then put a collision shape, which was the ball object, and a mesh instance 3D, which is inside there. That's the collision shape, and that's the texture over the shape. So then that let me put the ball character into this level. Now when I made the character body 3D, that came with some scripts that were pre-built. So like I applied a script and it was all pre-built for 3D movement. So all I had to do was set these variables to make the ball move around. And so now where I'm at is when I play it, I get this. So using the WASD, I've got this 3D movement and jump. So I can't seem to move. Oh, that's the other thing I did. I added in a model, which you can see I'm getting stuck on here. Might be able to land on top of it there. I added in this model, which I've hidden at the moment, which was a water tower. Let me see if I can do that again. This node has no shape. I think if I delete that, I added in from City Builder Bits. Let me do a bush this time. Okay. From the bush, I can create a mesh, a tri-mesh static body, which should be collidable. So my ball, which has its own, it has its own collision shape. This bush has a collision shape. They should collide with each other. And they do. So I've parked up against it and I can't go through it, but I can go around it. Great. That is amazing. That's what I wanted. Now, the other character that I had made before had more ball-like movement. So you can see this doesn't rotate at all. So today I want to get it like a rolling ball and a bouncing ball. So I'm happy with the jump, but it doesn't bounce. I want a bouncy and rolly. And one other thing that I lost my train of thought. Okay. What about a car? Oh, it's wheels. Okay, I'll ignore the wheels for now. I'm going to rotate this. Oh, and the other thing I remembered, I want to bond the camera in a 2D scroller. I want the camera to be bound to the character, to follow the character. Maybe with like a bit of sponginess. So you have to start moving and then the camera catches up, like a delay. And I'm sure that will be in a script somewhere. Okay, let me just practice getting the car hatchback, mesh. Yeah, add a collision object. Okay. Yeah, I'm colliding with the car. Cool. Yeah, I want the ball to be bouncy. Okay, I think I've got objects in. Next, bouncy ball. Ball needs to be bouncy. And I liked the acceleration style movement that I had going before, even though I wasn't able to get it to work in all directions. Let me make a list because I need to make a list. Left and right movement only. 2, bouncy ball. 3, camera follow. That's what I'm going to focus on today. Move left, move right. I liked the... Oh, what's this? Physics process. Gravity. I've stopped with that initial tutorial, even though I still have it open. Make a 3D bounce ball in Godot. Oh my god, is this my game?
Video, I will show you how to make a very simple and fun game in Godot. In this game, the player plays as a bouncing ball, and their goal is to reach the end of the level. If the ball falls off the level, because we want Godot to automatically calculate physics for our bouncing ball. Instead of manually controlling the position and rotation of the ball, we make a change the ball. Go to project settings, input map. You want the
setting the inputs.
In this case, we want to change the angular velocity of the ball, which will cause it to roll. To make the ball roll forward or back, we will spin it around the x-axis, and to make it roll left or right, we will spin it around the z-axis.
A ball.
When the player wants to move forward...
Okay, that was the difference between my 3D character movement, a character body 3D. It didn't have that rotation. If I open my player scene, I had a script in here, and I'll have to paste again. It was this one, and so it had force that applied. Vector 3. And anyway, this had a lock rotation thing that a character body doesn't have. So that's the difference between the character body and the rigid body. And that's what I'm trying to work out. Whether I push forward with a rigid body because I like how the movement looks. But this one had a pre-built script for moving a 3D character. So let me just pivot back to this one. I'll save that script. Let me look at this video.
We will subtract the rolling
So
force
do
from
want
the
rolling
angular
force.
velocity. And when the player wants to roll back, we will add the rolling force to make the ball spin in the opposite direction.
So let's see, he's built the level. I want to skip to the
Rename it
script
as
here.
model and reset its position to 0 to place it into the center of the scene. Assign a new spatial material and amplified
he's
shape of the
fast.
object which Godot will use when it simulates physics. Add a new collision shape node under the ball node. And under the shape property, create the new sphere shape. From the assets folder, drag the pixarball.obj model onto the scene, rename it as model, and reset its position to 0 to place it into the center of the scene. Assign a new spatial material and drag the pixarball.png node. And under the shape property, create the new sphere shape. From the assets folder, drag the pixarball.obj model onto the scene, rename it as model, and reset its position to
Okay, I need to get rid of this thing.
0 to place it into the center of the scene.
Okay.
Assign
that's
a
good
new
tip,
spatial
that reset to
material
0 thing.
and drag the pixarball.png texture from the assets folder into the materials albedo texture slot. Set the materials roughness to 0.4 to add a nice highlight to the ball and make it shiny. Now let's set up a camera. Create a new position 3D node, name it camera rig, and create a camera node under it. Check the current checkbox to tell Godot that this is the camera through which
He's
the
got a
player will be
camera
looking at
applied
the
to
scene.
the character.
We want the camera to be slightly behind and above the ball. So, move the camera 2.85 units up and 3.5 units back, and rotate it minus 30 degrees around the x-axis. Notice that the camera
Let me add a camera to my character. Add. Let me see his positioning. He's got a camera rig. What did he call it? What was the
shiny. Now let's set up a
what was the
camera.
item?
Create a new
Position 3D. Where is it?
position 3D node and make it shiny slot. The pixar place it into the PNG texture from the assets folder into the materials albedo texture slot. Set the materials roughness to 0.4 to add a nice highlight to the ball and make it shiny. Now let's set up a camera. Create a new position
Spatial. It was in spatial. Oh, that looks like it. Let's see, 3D marker, 3D position hint for editing, yeah. Okay. Was that on the character? No. Oh yeah, yeah it is.
3D node, name it camera rig, and create a camera node under it. Check the current checkbox to tell Godot that.
And then the camera. Cam rig. .5 meters back. 1.5. 1.5. And then rotation -20, -40. Okay. Let's see. I like. I want to go lower. Lower. And then like that. Cool. Let me save, because there'll be another camera here now. This is the wrong camera. Let me remove it. Now why would that... Do I need to make that the main camera? Maybe I'm rushing ahead again.
This is the camera through which the player will be looking at the scene. We want the camera to be slightly behind and above the ball. It minus and the camera is attached to. As the ball moves, we will make sure that the camera rig stays in the center of the ball, and the camera will be moving along. Think of 2.5 units back and rotate it minus 30 degrees around the x-axis. Notice that the camera is the child of the camera rig node, and it is positioned relative to the camera rig. Think of camera rig as an invisible arm that the camera is attached to. As the ball moves, we will make sure that the camera rig stays in the center of the ball, and the camera will be moving along with it, looking at the ball from the constant distance and angle. Now you can save the scene, go back to the level scene, and click on the link icon to add the ball into the level. Lift the ball 1 unit up on the y-axis so that it's resting on the floor. Now we can try running our game. When you click the play button for the first time, Godot will ask you to select the main scene for the game.
Okay, so perhaps I don't need this camera anymore. Oh yeah. Yes. Falling forever. Cool. Okay. Camera follow is done. Okay,
Select level of 1.
ball.
We are looking at it to make the ball move. First, let's input map, now the ball node, play
Got the
code,
inputs.
and click create. We create a variable called rolling force. You can set it to higher or lower values, depending on how quickly you want the ball to roll in response to player pressing the buttons. We have the export keyword before the variable, so that you can conveniently modify its value in the inspector. Let's create a physics process function. The code inside of this function is executed many times.
I'm going to make another character, and I want it to be a rigid thing. Or can I just edit mine. Let me put my guy back on. See the way that that other ball is rolling? That's what I want. That's living. Okay. What am I doing? I'm going to hide this guy. Player. Let me check out his script. Let me take some learnings from this. Okay, how do we handle a jump? Is on floor. Okay. So I need the is on floor function. Where's the is on floor function? I'm just going to copy function by function because that way physics process delta. Okay, that's a duplicate. So it knows about not is on floor. But I can't see in this script where I've given it the function for is on floor. Project settings, get settings, physics 3D, default gravity, sure. Constant speed 5. Okay. Ball 3. New one. Player will undo everything, so all the red goes away. Move left, move right. Ball 3. Let's work on ball 3. And let's make it behave like this bouncy ball. I'm going to
per second.
copy and paste.
It keeps running in the loop continuously as long as the player is playing the game.
Okay. ball 3, ball 3. Let's have a look at it. I haven't added the camera to this. Let's keep up with the video. Add marker 3D, and we were going to move that back. We moved it back. We didn't move it back. Cam rig. Camera. And we moved this back. 1.5. And then minus 30. Have a look. Yeah, I like. Save ball 3. We're committed to ball 3. What did we have for ball 2? Yeah, that was it. Level. Okay, save. Let's bring ball 3 in. It has gravity, it has shadow. Ooh. Cool. Okay. Lock rotation. No. I want to lock the rotation. I need to lock the rotation of this. Keep height. Doppler tracking, what's that? Let's see. Level, I'm getting scattered now. Yep, okay, that is expected, I suppose, when I've had the ball. When I'm locked onto the ball. But then if I lock the rotation of the ball, it doesn't roll around. So, contact monitor? Okay. Linear. Maybe he'll get to it in that video. Yeah, let's make it controllable. Extends rigid body 3D. Rolling force 40. I'm going to move this window off to my left so that I can see. You won't be able to see. Ball 3. Extends. Kill the script. Attach script. Extends rigid body 3D. Export rolling force equals 40. Underscore physics process delta.
In order to respond to the key presses, we have the if statements. They tell Godot which line of code to execute when the player is holding the corresponding key. When the player is holding the
if input capital I, input is action pressed, move right.
forward key, we will run the code that makes the ball roll forward. When the player wants to move left, we will run the code that makes it roll left, and so on. The rigid body node comes with a bunch of physics variables. You can modify them during the game to control the behavior of your object. In this case, we want to change the angular velocity of the ball, which will cause it to roll. To make the ball roll forward or back, we will spin it around the x-axis, and to make it roll left or right, we will spin it around the z-axis. When the player wants to move forward,
angular velocity dot, I need to check my axis, x velocity x.
we will subtract the rolling force from the angular velocity, and when the player wants to roll back, we will add the rolling force to make the ball spin in the opposite direction. We also need to multiply the rolling force by delta. Explaining the meaning of delta is out of scope of this tutorial, so don't worry if you are a bit confused by it. All you need to know now is that the physics process function typically runs 60 times per second. But it may sometimes run more or less frequently, depending on how fast or slow your computer is. This is a problem, because we are changing the angular velocity every frame, and we would get different results depending on the frame rate at which your computer is able to run the game. To solve this problem, we multiply rolling force by delta, which represents the time that has elapsed since the last time the physics process function has been executed. That will make our angular velocity change at a consistent rate every second, independently of how often our computer is able to run the physics process function. If you want to learn more about how delta works, you can follow the links under this video for a more detailed explanation. Here's the complete code for our movement function.
Oh, okay. So if input LF, it needs to line up with the if move left, we'll plus it. I feel like that's the wrong way around. Should we test? Do we have ball 3? Yeah. Oh no. Let's finish the job. It's just crashed. Okay. Only one left-right movement. That's
Change
fine.
the angular velocity around the x-axis when we want to roll back or forward, and we change the angular velocity around the z-axis when we want to roll left or right. Now, if we run our game, we'll see that our ball is rolling when we press the buttons, but the camera is rolling along with it. Let's fix this. Camera rig node is a child of the ball node, so as the ball spins, the camera inherits all of its transformations
You
and
didn't see, but he just showed that the camera was following that fixed point on the ball, like mine when the camera rolls around. So he's showing us how to fix that.
spins along with it. We want the camera rig's rotation to be independent of the ball, but we want its position to stay in the center of the ball as it moves. To accomplish the first part, we will use set as top level function. It will tell the camera rig to ignore the ball's transformations. Godot
Camera rig set as top level. Okay, let's see. Back and ball. Let's see. Camera. Set as top level. I did see that. Top level. Ah. What have I done? Anything in the console? Line 3. Okay. Let's have a look. Oh, he added the funk ready. Unexpected identifier.
will treat the camera rig as if it wasn't parented under the ball node. We will play
Yes, this is giving me some errors here. And I noticed that in his video, the script editor is picking up these nice if and else if statements. Extends rigid body. Let's get rid of it. I'll copy it. Ball. Let's remove the script. Let's add the script. Rigid body 3D. is his called Rigid Body and not Rigid Body 3D? Oh, because it's a bit old, maybe that's what he just has. Whoops. Okay, what's going on? Okay, let me have a look at my other scripts because perhaps the I don't think I need export anymore. Okay, and then func called every frame. Function ready. Void. Function ready void. Physics process. Delta expected indented block after function declaration. Okay, try it. Cool. Level. Oh no, I don't need a script in the level, do I? I had copy and pasted my script in the level. I don't think I need. No? I don't think I need a script. Okay. Move left, move right, don't do anything at the moment. Let's go back to bolt 3. Over X. Move left, move right, move right. Okay, carry on. Camera rig set as top level true. Oh, but it's not even following it anymore. So that's not it. That is not it set as top level. No. So now save that. Run that. Yeah, okay. Top level. camera rig set as top level. Function ready. Cam rig. Dot set as top level. Top. I should use no spaces. Camrig dot set as top level. Top level. True. Save. Let's play.
Place this code inside of the ready function. The ready function runs once at the beginning of the game, as soon as the ball is added to the scene, which is exactly what we want. Now, the camera rig ignores the ball's rotations, but also ignores its movement. In order to fix this, we will add the lines of code that will drag the camera rig along with the ball every frame, continuously making sure that it is placed in the center of the ball. Global transform.origin represents the global position of the ball. Camera rig.globaltransform.origin represents the global position of the camera rig. Every frame of the game, we will move the camera rig into the center of the ball, so as the ball moves, it keeps dragging the camera rig along with it. Now our camera follows the ball, which is great. We have one small issue though. When the ball jumps or bumps into a border, it's going to suddenly change directions, and so will the camera. These sharp camera movements will make it uncomfortable to play. It would be nice if it felt like our camera was on a spring, smoothly following the ball, ignoring its sudden movements.
I need to get that working. So let's play. I also need to get movement working. I haven't got much done in this 45 minutes so far. I think I'm going to just keep going off stream as well. But I don't really like the awkward silence and the... Like, it's kind of weird streaming, honestly. Particularly streaming to no one, but I suppose it is important because I want my kids to be able to see that I've learned something from nothing, that it can be done. And good to document my journey of learning something. So let's go back. I'm going to move this to the side again and I'm going to inspect his script.
To accomplish that,
Set camera, set as top level, and that function didn't pop up.
along with it.
But it did for him.
Now, if we run our game, we'll see that our ball is rolling when we change the angular.
Yeah, is that... If... If... Input is action just pressed. Get axis. Ah. Get axis. Move left, move right. my central force. Let me try this. Comment. Oops. Let me try that. Move left, move right does nothing. Maybe I haven't got them set up properly. Move left, A, or left, okay. Let's try it. Script. Edit. Control K for comments. Cool. What's wrong now? Unindent doesn't match the previous. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I want to redo that. If is action pressed. XX Z Z forward, back, left, right, move forward, move back, move left, move right, save, let's run it. Okay. Okay, move forward, move back. Okay, there's something's happening here. Input, clear all. Move right, D. Move left, A. Move forward, W, S. Move jump. What the hell? Did he go and set up his inputs in the project?
Click the new project button for our port the project folder. Go to TF. That save the new node module. Create a smash lib thing size don't need the group rate. So because every region I to the drop it will be to make it general this kind of click level then action all. Go to Project, Project Settings, Input Map,
Watch along with me.
and add the actions forward, back, left, right, and jump. Then click the plus button next to each action and assign keys to them. W for forward, S for back, A for left, D for right, and space for jump.
Great.
That will allow us to execute code in response to player pressing these keys. To the will left and so on. The rigid body node comes with a bunch of features.
It's called move forward. Move forward, and it auto completed. I think there's something.
Let's
here.
create a physics process function. The code inside of this function is executed many times per second. It keeps running in the loop continuously as long as the player is playing the game. In order to respond to the key presses, we have the if statements. They tell Godot which line of code to execute when the player is holding the corresponding key. When the player wants to move left, we will run pulse. You can angular, we will spin it. When the player wants to move forward, we will subtract the rolling force from the angular velocity. And when the player wants to roll back, we will add the rolling force to make the ball spin in the opposite direction. We also need to multiply the rolling force by delta. Explaining the meaning of delta is that our ball is rolling when transformation goes inside the ball as actions, but also ignores its movement. In order to fix this, we will add the lines of code that will drag the camera rig along with the ball every frame.
Okay. I'm gonna stop the stream here now, and I just have to muck around with this code, and I'll try and keep in mind what I've fixed, because this is kind of frustrating, and I know that being frustrated is part of the process, but I still want to press forward. So I'm going to stop the stream now. I'm going to just go away and hack at this for a while, and then I'll come back. Might do another hour tomorrow. Okay, bye.